By now, you've probably heard that the Pentagon has been spending $22 million a year on a covert program to investigate the UFO phenomenon. CNN interviewed the head of the program.
Out front now, the former Pentagon military official who ran the covert government program up until this last November, Luis Elizondo. Luis, thank you so much for your time tonight. I mean, first, tell us what the purpose of the program was and why it was so secretive.
Sure. The purpose of the program, Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, was really designed to do just that. From a national security perspective, identify those things that we see, whether we see them electro-optically, we see them with radar, we see them as eyewitness reports, through a myriad of different ways and avenues that we receive the information, and try to ascertain and determine if that information is a potential threat to national security, in a nutshell.
He stated that these craft or objects, these flying objects that they observed, demonstrated abilities and feats that were beyond anything which terrestrial technology possessed.
I think what's important is that we have identified some very, very interesting, anomalous type of aircraft. Let's call them aircraft. Things that don't have any obvious flight surfaces, any obvious forms of propulsion, and maneuvering in ways that include extreme maneuverability beyond, I would submit, the healthy G-forces of a human or anything biological. Hypersonic velocities, low observability, positive lift, again, seemingly in defying the laws of aerodynamics.
When pushed, and he did seem rather coy about it, he admitted that these craft were probably, no doubt, from other planets, and that we're probably not alone.
Do you believe that life from somewhere else, while you ran this program, came here, visited, observed?
I will tell you unequivocally that through the observation, scientific methodologies that were applied to look at this phenomena, that these aircraft, we'll call them aircraft, are displaying characteristics that are not currently within the U.S. inventory, nor in any foreign inventory that we are aware of.
So I know you're being clear, but I mean, the answer is yes.
I can't speak on behalf of the government. Obviously, I'm not in the U.S. government anymore. My personal belief is that there is very compelling evidence that we may not be alone, whatever that means.
Of course, we're not alone. This universe, the vastness of it, was not put here for one single race on one single speck in the cosmos. These beings have been visiting Earth from time immemorial. They have been watching this planet, monitoring the activity on this planet for millions and millions of years. The Star of Bethlehem, for instance, we believe was a spacecraft bringing and introducing an aspect of a Venusian intelligence into the womb of an Earth woman. It is interesting to note that Jesus in the Bible, in the book of Revelation, is reported to have said that he came from the line of David and the bright and morning star. It is also interesting to note that the Buddhist symbols of enlightenment are the Bodhi leaf and the bright morning star. The Bodhi leaf would be Buddha's terrestrial origin of enlightenment, or symbolic of that, since he was reported to have sat under the Bodhi tree. The bright morning star, of course, being Venus, would be his cosmic enlightenment. We believe that Buddha is the elder brother of Jesus, and their teaching, while the language is different, is one and the same. Not only is the galaxy and the entire universe filled with life, filled with many different kinds of races, but also are all the planets within this solar system inhabited by beings who are millions of years our senior in many respects, both scientifically and spiritually. There are skeptics who don't believe that this planet is being visited. Might I ask these people to consider not only the size of the universe, but its age. Modern science has purported that the universe is something like 13 billion years old. 13 billion. Within that universe, logically, there must be intelligences or races which are at least millions of years and some perhaps billions of years beyond the technology and the philosophy on this planet. This planet being a very backward and primitive planet, or at least the race which inhabits it. And if that weren't so, there wouldn't be wars, there wouldn't be starvation, there wouldn't be poverty, there wouldn't be want, there wouldn't even be a monetary system, which is indicative of a very primitive society. In modern times, we began to see the spate of UFO sightings in 1947, after the human race entered the atomic age in modern times. I say modern times because the late 40s was not the first time that humans had used atomic energy. The asteroid belt orbiting between Mars and Jupiter was once a planet. It was destroyed through a nuclear conflagration, through a nuclear holocaust, through a single nuclear device which destroyed the entire planet. A scientist at that time had gone a step above the hydrogen bomb and obliterated a living, breathing world into thousands and thousands of pieces of cold rock. This forlorn race came to this planet practically from the ape stage because of the horrific crime, and we are the descendants of that race. We built ourselves up again after millions of years into the civilization of Lemuria, which was scientifically more advanced than this present age. We again destroyed that civilization through nuclear holocaust. We crawled up again from the nuclear slime into the civilization of Atlantis. And again, we destroyed ourselves through nuclear holocaust. And what are we on the verge of doing a third time? I have a book here called First Contact: The Evidence, How UFOs Saved Humanity from Nuclear Destruction. Unfortunately, this book isn't in print. This is the original draft, which was lent to me by the author. But in here has absolute and concrete evidence for the fact that not only are we being visited by extraterrestrial intelligences, but that these intelligences have saved humanity from the absolute catastrophe that exploding thousands of nuclear, atomic, and hydrogen devices would have caused. We had released from the beginning of this present nuclear age enough radiation to kill all life on this planet. And that would have happened had it not been for the intervention of these beings and their craft. In this book, there is absolute verifiable proof of that. Not only is there proof of that, but there is absolutely verifiably provable evidence for their contact. And they did contact various people at the time. One of the most prominent contactees was Dr. George King, and he received over 600 messages, telepathic messages, from extraterrestrial sources. This is absolutely provable. There's absolute proof of this in this book. You don't have to take my word for it. Investigate it. Investigate this claim. I'm not asking you to believe me. But here shows that we have not been left alone on this planet. Their contact has been subtle, but it wasn't so subtle at certain times in our history. And they have even walked among us. They have sent their emissaries throughout the ages, and they have continued to send them in modern times.